Hey guys, it's me, Pokemon Jerry Bear HD, and today we have our week 1 battle of the ICBA against Deebs and the Calgary Flamewheels. And I did record a team builder, but there were some complications with the thumbnail, and so I did not upload it separately yesterday. However, I do have it unlisted, so it will be in the description in case anyone wants to see it, but I will warn you, it is pretty long, so definitely be wary of that. And if you don't want the long version of me just rambling about why I brought what I brought and everything about the matchup, there is going to be just the team and like a poke paste in the description. And so, looking at this matchup, my opponent has decided to bring the Crobat, the Aegislash, Zygarde, Swampert, and Alomomola. My team here, for a quick rundown, is Specs Primarina, tanky, like I've got enough speed to speed tie with the Zygarde, Arcanine, with Will-O-Wisp to hopefully catch it off guard, pretty standard Mega Pinsir with Swords Dance, and Earthquake being coverage move. Kind of also another tanky one in Mew with Ice Beam, Earth Power, Toxic as its coverage. Spadef, Piloswine, which is my only way of not losing to Mega Diancie. And then Chalonberry, especially offensive, barring Drill Run, Pheromosa with Dual Stabs and Ice Beam. And it is a speed boosting one so that no Scarfers can outspeed this after I get one kill. And this, when I see this team composition on Deeb's part, I mean, regardless of what he brought, he didn't really have any switch-ins for Specs Primarina, so I definitely wanted to lead off with that. And I am most worried about the Aegislash because I don't have a whole lot of ways to lure it in, because my most obvious ways of beating it is with, Fire Move from Arcanine, which is my main switch-in, but that can get worn down if he gets rocks up. And other than that, it's just chipping it down with Earthquake from Pinsir, Earth Power from Mew, and hopefully that being a switch into like Moonblast from Primarina, because Aegislash is just going to be a real problem. And then Diancie, like I said earlier, Piloswine's the only thing that's going to prevent me from losing to it, really. Otherwise, once Piloswine's gone, I don't have any switch-ins whatsoever to it. So, we will get into the battle now, since I'm going to lead Primarina, the only thing that would scare me out would maybe be the Crobat, just because I don't want it to be, potentially a, banded cross poison or something like that could potentially Oko me, although I do have significant defensive investment into my Primarina. So he does actually lead that Crobat, so I'm going to switch out into my Arcanine, as it should take any hit from this, and I can gauge the damage. And unfortunately, he goes for U-turn, and now that means Diancie's coming in. Like, I know it, even before it's coming in, without this hindsight, like, that meant Mega Diancie can come in and just immediately put so much pressure on me, as I do get my leftovers back, so I am, close to full, but Rock Move incoming, I can't do anything about it. Piloswine's the only thing I can bring in. But thankfully my EV spread does allow me to not get, for it to not do too much damage, to where at least I get like 2-hit KO'd or anything like that. So it does go for the Power Gem. it does do 60, but that means it's 3 at KO, which means he definitely doesn't want to stay in, and I'm going to predict that, so I'm going to just get my rocks up, because with rocks up, Pheromosa becomes a much bigger threat, and a lot of close to KOs or 2 at KOs become OKOs, so definitely need those rocks up as he goes into a Swampert, but I need to switch out, and I'm going to switch out into my Pinsir because I'm expecting him to go for rocks, and I am correct, so I do not take the rocks damage because he shouldn't be able to OHKO me with any move unless he's offensive, but since I'm expecting defensive, even a rock slide shouldn't OHKO me, so I can get off 2 returns and get off just a ton of damage on this so that I could easily kill it later. Except I do notice that my return does nothing because I did this incorrectly, so it did not have all that much happiness. So my return did nothing, which is pretty unfortunate because that leftovers almost gets it done with that. So I'm just gonna have to go for Earthquake as I don't have any form of hazard removal, and this would be dead anyway. And so I'm just gonna get some damage off, but unfortunately I do not get as much damage as I could have if I had max happiness returns. So that's pretty bad on my part, but you know what? It's fine. Pinsir wasn't the most important thing in the world, so I can make it Primarina. Apologize for my voice. I'm yawning and my throat is definitely killing me right now, and I have a stuffy nose, so I'm definitely not speaking well, but I can go Primarina. I can throw off Moonblast, as the only resist is the Aegislash, but I don't expect that to come in first, and does do a ton to his initial switch in Alomomola, which makes sense with the Regenerator, but now he's gonna go switch into that Aegislash, so that does lead me to believe immediately that it is, defense or more likely Spadef invested, since he is just gonna switch it in, knowing that I am Specs, and it doesn't. Oh god, my voice. It doesn't do too much. And now I'm forced out into my Arcanine, since that is my only real switch into this, since it is a threat offensively, but I don't know what he wants to do, although he clearly is especially defensive and invested, so I don't know if he's too offensive, but he does go for the Toxic, probably predicting my Arcanine to come in, and that is unfortunate since rocks are up, and now I'm Toxic, so I don't have too much longevity to switch into this, but since I know it's not offensive, at least that helps in a sense that switch again's not going to be as bad. However, it can switch into me extremely well, so I do have to be careful, as he's going to go into the Swampert, which I predict because it seemed pretty obvious, so I'm going for close combat, and it was a safe switch on his part, not really much I could do to him, and I'm only carrying the Flare Blitz in close combat as attacking moves, and Will-O-Wisp for the only thing to do to him, but since he's not going to want to take a Fire move with Aegislash, since he knows it can wall a good majority of my team, the Swampert was very safe, and so I'm going to go into my Mew as just to kind of see what he wants to do, whether he wants to Earthquake or Scald, as he goes into the Alomomola, and the Alomomola is definitely going to be annoying if I don't do anything about it, so I'm going to go for the Toxic. I missed, but that doesn't matter because he actually goes for Toxic too, so to me, that's perfectly fine. He's just gonna, do it for me since I missed, as Synchronized will go off. And now, with the Alomomola poisoned, now I can definitely have Primarina to KO it much easier, as he can't do a whole lot with Wish protecting. So I do get my Primarina in on this Alomomola, since I'm not sure what else it really wants to do, but since I'm pretty sure he thinks he can't really do much to me, he goes into the Aegislash. Makes perfect sense, but since I'm in with Primarina now, I get to fire off a Hydro Pump, because nothing really wants to take Hydro Pumps, especially now with the Almamola being poisoned. Although it should be able to take it, it's putting on a lot of pressure and getting it as weakened as I can. So Hydro Pump comes off, does a good chunk, and the leftover is going to be negated with that poison damage. And since, Almamola really can't do a whole lot to me, the worst you could possibly do is maybe knock off or toxic. So I'm just going to go back into my Mew, since I'd prefer my Primarina to not get toxic or knocked off, as he does go for the Wish. So that definitely is going to be annoying, as since Pinsir is one of the things that could have helped me break Almamola, it's pretty much up to either stalling it out kind of with the Mew or Primarina. So I'm gonna double back into the Primarina, trying to catch the... I'm assuming the Aegislash is coming in, and this is the best way to threaten it, where he may stay in, and so does wish up the Aegislash, and I'm just gonna throw off a Hydro Pump yet again, as he goes for King's Shield to scout what I want to lock myself into, and then he's gonna switch into that Swampert to sack it off, as I just go for my Hydro Pump yet again, since the the Almamola can't take two at this point, and I missed the first Hydro Pump, but that doesn't really matter because I'm just going to go for it again, as it does connect, and this is going to easily knock out the Swampert. So we're getting rid of some of the fat stuff so that Pheromosa can sweep late game, but there's still a lot of work to be done for that to happen, as he does go into that Crobat. I know it's not banded, but I don't want Primarina to be taking a ton of damage, since it's still at a range where it could potentially take a hit from it can take a hit from the Nancy and then knock it out, and I want that possibility to be there. So I am going to switch out into my Arcanine to take it on / sack it off, as he goes for U-turn again, making a good play. And this time he goes into Zygarde, feeling like this is maybe the time to set it up, which I'm perfectly okay with, because he does not know that I am actually max speed with Will-O-Wisp, just for the case of I don't feel like he's going to be max speed necessarily. He might not want to feel like he needs to risk that, and so I can get the Will-O-Wisp off and catch him off guard, as he may try to set up or just go for 1,000 arrows, as he does, and that will definitely knock me out from this range. But now Zygarde is burned, and that's the priority Mon that he decided to bring for my Pheromosa, and that's perfect because now it's burned. So even with the Chalonberry, E-Speed's just not going to do a whole lot. So I'm going to go for Earth Power, expecting the Aegislash to come in with my Mew, as he does not actually switch, so he goes for Dragon Dance. I guess trying to see if he can get anything done with this. So that's fine. I take a little more damage, but it's, I definitely did not expect him to stay in. I do have the Ice Beam, which I assumed was pretty obvious, but, I guess this isn't really doing a whole lot for him, other than it has E-Speed, but since it's burned, I'm not going to do a whole lot, so I'm just going to go for Ice Beam this time as he Dragon Dances yet again. I guess hoping that I didn't have the Ice Beam, since I went for Earth Power, but that is not the case, as now I am pretty weakened with Mew, so DNC can just come in, claim its kill. Well, not necessarily claim its kill because I still have the Piloswine, but does kind of claim its kill in that I don't want to switch the Piloswine directly in, take rocks and then a hit before I can hit back, since that might be chancing it too close. So I can go into Piloswine now after I sack off Mew, and I can just go for the earth power, or not earth power, earthquake, because I've definitely forced out the DNC, or if it stays in, I do enough to where Ice Shard will kill it. So earthquake goes off on the Almamola. It doesn't do a whole lot, but does decent amount. So it's not like it's not doing anything here, and he is poisoned, so leftovers negated, thankfully, and he's not gonna gain too much from trying to switch out. So I can just once again go into Primarina, as this is a huge threat to him, and he goes for Wish, trying to do my Pillow Swine or make me try to heal up something else. But now that the Almamola is pretty weakened, he might want to heal up himself, so he does do that, going for the Protect, as I do go for the Sparkling Aria because I don't want to miss Hydro Pump. And since he was weakened, I don't mind going for the Water move here, since I figured that Aegislash was going to be forced in at some point. And so I don't mind if I have to take some hits, because at least at this point, it looks like the set is Scald, Toxic, Wish, Protect, so I'm not worried about me being knocked off, as I can go for that Sparkling Aria again, do a good chunk, but thankfully with the Toxic damage, that'll help me get it to a 2-hit KO, as he does go for the Toxic on my Primarina, as I don't really have a switch in for Toxic anymore, since the Mew is down, and the Arcanine is down. So that's, unfortunate, but and one good side effect of this is that I'm actually going to get into Torrent range soon. So I am just going to keep going for that Sparkling Aria, as I'm getting whittled down and I don't want to take rocks again, and I get my kill with Sparkling Aria at this point. And so goes into the Aegislash, since that full, or basically full, does just under half. However, with the damage racking up, like I said, I'm now in Torrent range, and he goes for King Shield to get more Toxic off on me, but since I'm in Torrent range, I'm gonna do a ton to anything at this point. I might even kill this, although I know it is invested, so it might be close, but regardless, this Aegislash or anything you may switch in is dead upon me going for Sparkling Aria, so I go for it again, but now Torrent boosted, and it just barely misses out on the KO, as he's going to end up Shadow Balling me to finish me off. But now the time is sorry, the time is now. Now the time is now. I'm terrible. It's pretty set up to where now that Aegislash is weakened, it's definitely in range of Drill Run or almost any move I go for, so it's time. Pheromosa is in. I'm going for Ice Beam because I'm pretty suspecting that Crobat is Scarf based off the damage and how he's playing it. I think it's Scarf, and I'm speed boosting, so I don't want it to come directly in. And since he was in Blade form, Ice Beam killed at this range, so I knew he couldn't switch. So now he's going to go into the Almamola. It can't do a whole lot to me other than Scald or Toxic, but I'm going to go for Focus Blast because that's actually the only thing that kills at this point. So I could have gone for Bug Buzz and then just killed in 2 turns, but we are men, we go for Focus Blast. So now I'm boosted in speed yet again. I'm still way faster than everything. In comes DNC, and I'm actually going to pause. I don't pause very often, but in Wi-Fi, but I'm gonna pause here. During the game, I thought that Crobat was going to come in on rocks for the second time, for the third time, so that it would be in range of an Ice Shard from Piloswine in the back. That is actually not the case at all, and it is only coming in on rocks once. So the best course of action here for me is to go for Drill Run, because it would do enough to where Ice Shard should pick this off, and then I take a Brave Bird from, or I take one Brave Bird from Crobat from this range, and I get 2 ice shards off, and definitely it, dies, and I win the game with Pillow Swine right there, 1-0. However, because that's 95%, to hit, so that's probably my best course of action to make sure I win the game. However, since I did not realize that, and I thought it would die to a Brave Bird plus Ice Shard, like Brave Bird recoil, and I didn't really, or it would just die from Ice Shard, not Brave Bird at all, and not get the chance to Brave Bird in my Pillow Swine, since I knew I could take 1 hit from Nancy. I actually just go for Focus Blast, because that's actually the only thing I have on my set that can kill this from this range, because Drill Run doesn't. So, man, we go for Focus Blast again. Who hits 2? I hit 2 Focus Blasts, and that's just gonna seal up the game. If I missed, I lose the game. Like I said, I mistakenly thought Crobat was gonna come in at like about 25%, but instead it's actually at 50%. So that was using a 70% win con instead of a 95%, which is not good, but it works out. I Ice Beam the Crobat, and that's a sweep for Pheromosa, and that's a 2-0 victory for the Los Angeles Lookers. And so that was an interesting game in that Pinsir didn't get to really do anything, but in the long run it didn't matter, since that was a misgen on my fault, on me to make sure that the happiness is correct. And I'm glad Pheromosa got to do what I wanted it to do and sweep with the speed boosting, since his best answer to it was either E-Speed from Zygarde or Scarf Crobat, and I was actually prepared for both with the Chalon Berry as well as the speed boosting, so it couldn't have gone any better in the late game, and Specs Primarina definitely opened the door for me to have that opportunity. So thankfully we come out with this victory and have a nice start, and also Pheromosa just getting to do what in theory I thought it would do is just awesome. Can't ask for anything better. So we come out with this victory, and hopefully we can do that again next week against the Dominic and the New Jersey Nagana Devils. So hopefully you will join me for that, and thank you for watching this battle. Bye!